On News Hour tonight, at least 30 farmers killed, Islamic cleric kidnapped, and fresh bandits attack in Zamfara. Pushback among POS operators of a new CBN directive on registration. Aircraft skids off runway at Lagos Airport as Dana Air disengages workers temporarily amid operational audit. And the firing scene, over 200 dead in Afghanistan, flash floods. Hello and welcome to Trust News Hour. I am Chiamaka Mwafo. Now the news. Bandits have attacked two farming communities in Zamfara State, killing at least 30 farmers and a respected Islamic cleric. Police spokesman in Zamfara, ASP Yazid Abubakar, confirmed the attacks on two local government areas of the state, but said details would be given later. Sources said the incidents happened on Thursday in Maradun and Safi local government areas. It was learned that 3 other persons were killed by the bandits in a village, while residents of the village killed 24 bandits and recovered 8 of their motorbikes. It was also guarded that a district head, Murtala Ruwan Bardu of Garabadu in Talatafara Emirate, also narrowly escaped a bandit attack in the evening of the same day along Mayananchi Road. Still staying in Zamfara State, the government says 4 people have died out of 177 cases of a yet-to-be-diagnosed disease in parts of the state. Now, Zamfara Commissioner for Health, Aisha Anka, in a statement on Friday, said the disease has been recorded in Maradun, Shinkafi, and Guzau local government areas of the state. According to her, children are mostly affected, adding that the cases are associated with water consumption. Anka in the state issued in Guzau on Friday by the information officer of the ministry, Bello Ibrahim, added that the disease is characterized by abdominal distension, accumulation of fluid in the abdomen, enlarged liver and spleen, fever, and general body weakness. She said the ministry will continue to update the public and all relevant stakeholders and partners on any update about the outbreak. Now joining us is Daily Trust regional editor Yushao Adamu is via phone call to give an update on both the recent bandits attack and the strange disease that have killed 4 people out of 177 cases. Hello, good evening, and thank you for joining us, Yushao.
Good evening, how are you?
Okay, so now can you tell us more about this attack on farming communities? What is the extent of this attack?
Well, it was contained in the story, the bandits have attacked Maradun village and killed several people, which according to residents has reached to 30 farmers. The banditry activities around Maradun is becoming a daily affairs because every day 1 or 2 villages would be had to be attacked by the bandits. So the issue is seriously affecting people around this axis. It has reached to a point where from the Dambaza, which is along Gusau and Sokoto Road, leading to Maradun, people have completely abandoned that road. Instead, they used to go through some remote villages to reach to Maradun. So this is to tell you the extent of the attack of the people around this area.
All right, so now one of the villagers from the story that we have actually put up a resistance and they killed about over 20 bandits and even took some of their motorbikes. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, in every situation like this, people may start to put resistance because they attack the community maybe today and tomorrow they came back, next day they came back. So that makes people to start confronting the bandits. This time around, they were lucky to kill 24 of them and recover 8 of their motorbikes. But the issue is that the people are now scared. In fact, some of them have fled to Dambaza because they are anticipating maybe a revenge attack from the bandits. Because sometimes they used to come in batches. Like this one, they were not many, and probably that was why the community engaged them in fight. So when they are coming for a revenge mission, they normally come in large number. So that was why some of the villagers or residents have deserted their homes.
Okay, so now let's go to the next thing that has happened in Zamfara State. Now there's an unknown disease, a strange disease that nobody knows what's happening about. Can you give us a confirmation of that information?
Well, like it was that it was contained in the press statement, is a disease that is not yet known, and the state has no a modern laboratory for it to maybe analyze the disease and tell the people what it is all about. So, as at now, samples of the different species or issues related to the disease have been taken to Lagos and Abuja. And government and the public are now waiting for the result. So up to this moment, nobody knows what the disease is all about at the moment. But like what the government said, they have sent their medical expert to the affected areas, and they have taken the samples, and they are now waiting for the result. But like in Maradun, we find out that people are not willing to go to the hospital because the location of the general hospital in that area is close by a notorious bandit enclave. So they are afraid of going there. Probably, maybe they are thinking that maybe the bandits may decided to attack the hospital. So that is the situation in Maradun. And for now, from what we have heard from Shinkapi and Gusau, some patients were taken to the infectious diseases center in Gusau and Dampa, and outskirts of Gusau local government. So they have two centers for diseases control. So the patients were there receiving treatment. But as you can see, it's not a place whereby people will start going there to see what is going on. So nobody is going there. We are just waiting for the government to brief us or to give us update about the outbreak.
All right, thank you so much, Yushao Adamo, for joining us on Trust TV's News Hour tonight, giving us an update on what's happening in Zamfara State. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I've been speaking with the Daily Trust Regional Editor, Yushao Adamo, on the issues happening in Zamfara State, both security and health-wise. Now to more stories. 6 Almajiri students of Sangaya Islamic Schools in Udobo town of Gamawa local government area of Bauchi State have died from a suspected meningitis outbreak. According to the chairman of Gamawa local government caretaker committee, Nehru Bukaru, up to other Almajiri pupils from the Sangaya schools are receiving treatment at the maternity clinic. Now, while Nehru could not confirm the exact number of people affected, he stated that several others had been treated and discharged. The outbreak is reportedly spread across 3 Sangaya centers within the local government area. Meanwhile, the executive chairman of the Bauchi State Primary Healthcare Development Agency, Rilwan Mohammed, has assured that the state is working to address the outbreak. He revealed that 7 local government areas have reported meningitis cases, adding that the situation is being managed through isolation and treatment measures. Point-of-sale operators in Kano State are protesting against the recent directive by the Corporate Affairs Commission that they should register their businesses within 2 months. The directive, according to the CAC, aligns with regulations set by the Central Bank of Nigeria. However, these operators are raising concerns that such registration could potentially inflate transaction costs for customers. Here's the report.
Point of sale operators in Kano State protest over a recent directive from the Corporate Affairs Commission. The CAC has mandated POS agents to register their businesses within a 2-month deadline in line with the CBN regulations. However, operators are expressing concerns that this registration could drive up transaction costs for customers. A serious challenge that has come to us operators is this issue of mandatory registration. What I would want the CAC to understand is that most of us will not be able to afford that registration unless it is reduced. Everyone knows the problems we are facing. Even with the 100 naira, 150 naira charges at the moment, people still complain a lot. Now, this policy might make things more difficult if we have to increase charges. Meanwhile, CAC registration agents argue that the call for registration is not only driven by potential commissions from an increased number of registrations, but also by the necessity to comply with the directive. The new registration is useful because mostly we have seen cases that a person could be using a name to operate his business that is registered by someone else. I believe the POS operators will realize the benefits of having that owned business name very soon. So, you know, when new things come, there's usually apprehension from people, especially when it involves money. But I believe that in the long run, the operators will see that this new directive is done in the best interest of everyone. Be that as it may, due to challenging economic climate and the soaring inflation of food prices, these operators are urging the government to reconsider its directives. We call on the government to try to see if there is a way that they can look at this policy to reduce the amount of money for the registration, because with the current economic situation, we are not making that much from the POS business. And if you now make us stop with the increasing inflation and everything, what do you now want us to do? Many of us will not be able to meet up and start eating into our capital, because even the capital that we have in this business is not much. So we appeal to the government to please look into it again and try to reduce the amount for the registration. As tensions rise between regulatory requirements and industry concerns, the fate of these POS operators hangs in the balance.
A traditional African beverage made from millet and mixed with cow milk is a staple food that is popular among the people of northern Nigeria. Over the years, it has served as a go-to meal for many, especially for regular Nigerians. However, the rising price of this nutritious and refreshing beverage due to the present economic downturn is depriving many of the beloved meal as it gradually becoming out of their reach. From Jigawa, Ali Rabiu's report is hereby presented.
Fradanono, a traditional West African food, continues to be a staple in Jigawa State, particularly among the Fulani and Hausa communities. This nutritious and refreshing drink is made from millet, dough balls served with a side of sour milk, providing a boost of carbohydrates and fiber. However, because of inflation and general cost of living, many are now deprived of taking Fradanono, a meal some cannot do without.
Before, I used to buy a calabash of a Fradanono for about 500 naira. But nowadays, the same quantity goes for about 2,000 naira because of the inflation. And so things are not like as they used to be before.
Hadiza Idris, a Fulani who sells Fradanono in Duse, the state capital of Jigawa State, said that the business is not moving like before and that the nono milk is not always readily available because of the cost of the product.
The price of an average calabash of nono was 500 naira last year and now costs about 1,000 or 1,500 naira. We call on the government to address the current economic hardship. The price has more than doubled, unlike before. I am just struggling to remain afloat in the business. As everything is costly, the government can help the people and make things cheaper. Nigerians could be very happy and better for the country.
The testimonies of local sellers like Hadiza Idris and Ahara Shehu underscores the urgent need for government intervention to alleviate the economic hardships faced by many Nigerians. Ali Rabiu Ali, Trust TV News, Jigawa.
Over in Benue State, residents of Makurdi, the state capital, have warned of a rise in forced evictions of tenants following the rising cost of house rents in the state capital. According to them, the surge in rents, which has become an issue of concern, if not controlled, may worsen the already strained economy that is making life difficult for residents. We have Jimmy Azande with more.
The residents blame the activities of the middlemen, popularly called house agents, for the current situation in Makurdi and environs.
One of the reasons why house rent cost in Makurdi is due to all these Yahoo boys. If, for instance, a landlord say his house is 450,000 and they charge them, they will just pay. And a common man that doesn't have that 450,000 naira will not be afford the money to pay. So that was the reason why these landlords see that these boys, they have money to pay.
In addition, some say the growing number of internet fraudsters, also known as Yahoo boys, is a factor for the rising cost.
I think they are more interested in their own percentage. So the cost is just something else now. I think the best thing for one to do nowadays is just to get a place, no matter how small and no matter how it is, and pack in. If it is yours, it is yours. If not, it's so disheartening.
They are saying only the government can fix the situation through properly executed housing policies for the low-income earners.
Both the state and the federal government should come in to build more houses, to build more, house for the average income earners, so that they can also afford. They can build estate. Government can go into estate development, like we had in the past, where the government of Akume built owner-occupier and gave to civil servants. When Susam came, he also did the same thing in North Bank area. So this government should step in. This government should come in and secure a place where they can build, a house for an average income owner.
Residential houses are rented in hundreds of thousands and even millions in Makurdi at the moment. Economists are saying this price is not commensurate with the status of Benue, a civil service-dominated state. Jimmy Azande, Trust TV News, Makurdi.
Of the state capital, Jalingo, have decried the recent disruption in electricity supply to the state. The situation, which lingered for a while now, has negatively affected the daily lives of residents and impacted businesses across the state. The report.
According to residents, life has almost become a standstill as every activity is dependent on electricity. Business operators are also lamenting that for over a week now, they have been using diesel to power their operations, noting that with the increase in petroleum products, they will not be able to sustain their operations.
It's a known scenario. Everybody's suffering it. There is heat, there's no light, and even to buy fuel is another problem for us. We are begging, pleading with the government to look into this situation and correct it. If not, in fact, it's affecting even health.
The vandalism that has happened now that plunged this state and other states in total blackout. This is not the first time. It has been happening, only that this one is, the magnitude of this one is higher than the ones that have been happening. And for almost a month, over 3 weeks now, Taraba State, Jalingo in particular, is in total blackout. This has affected a lot of small-scale businesses, people who cannot run their businesses on generator.
To be frank, our businesses are suffering because we cannot produce enough like before. We spend a lot on diesel, so we need to increase prices on our products. But some of our customers cannot afford the new price. Government should come to our aid.
We cannot even refrigerate our drinks because there is no power supply, and because most people don't want to drink water or any other drink that is not chilled. We are losing patronage because we cannot afford to buy fuel due to the increase in the price. We are calling on the government to intervene. Addressing the press, the Taraba State Commissioner for Energy and Economic Development, Naomi Tanko, stated that the recent distribution in electricity supply was caused by vandalization of 4 transmission towers along Jos Gombe 300 kV lines. According to her, the federal government and the state government are working with the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, and the Yola Electricity Distribution Company to address the situation.
I understand the frustration and inconvenience that this disruption has caused to all our dear residents. We, as the ministry, waited in addressing the public until significant progress has commenced by the federal government of Nigeria, of which we have been informed that TCN has handed over the site to the contractor and restoration work has commenced.
The commissioner urged residents to remain vigilant and report any suspicious activities around the transmission tower or any electrical facilities to law enforcement agents.
We have felt and observed keenly the increase in the insecurity that has plagued us all, especially during these days of total blackout for some and partial electricity supply restored to some.
Meanwhile, residents are calling on relevant authorities to do more to restore electricity supply in the state in order to reduce burden on the citizens.
An aircraft belonging to X-Jet Airline on Saturday morning skidded off the runway at the domestic wing of Murtala Mohammed Airport in Lagos. Now, following this development, the Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria has shut the 18 left runway of the airport. The Airbus, with 52 passengers on board, departed Abuja and landed in Lagos at 11:29 a.m. The spokesperson of the Nigerian Safety Investigation Bureau, Bimbo Olajide, who confirmed the incident, said that the team had been deployed to the site of the incident. Just last month, Dana MD-82 aircraft was involved in the skidding off the runway, necessitating the Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Festus Keyamo, to order the suspension of the carrier for a comprehensive auditing. The temporary closure of the runway by FAN limits the airport to one single runway, which is expected to lead to aircraft delays and landing. Meanwhile, Dana Air has announced its decision to temporarily disengage some of its staff members. This comes on the heels of its recent grounding and ongoing audit by the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority, NCAA. The head of corporate communications for the airline, Kingsley Ezenwa, disclosed in a statement on Saturday. According to the statement, the audit, which is currently in progress, is a joint effort between the company and regulatory authorities to ensure strict adherence to all required standards and regulations. The airline added that while its management is working to address any concerns, it is also preparing a restart plan that will ensure the safe and efficient resumption of operations when the audit is completed. It said the airline remains committed to providing updates and support to its staff throughout the process, adding that while these challenges are being addressed, it has commenced talks with lessors who are currently engaging stakeholders on the progress made so far. Last month, the NCAA suspended the air operator certificate of Dana Airlines with immediate effect. This is the news hour on Trust TV. Still to come. Amidst economic challenges, Imo residents call for full reinstatement of fuel subsidy. More when we return. Please do stay with us. Welcome back. This is News Hour on Trust TV. Now a recap of our top stories. At least 30 farmers killed, Islamic cleric kidnapped, and fresh bandits attack in Zamfara. And we also told you that pushback among POS operators over a new CBN directive on registration. To more news, the Nigerian Army says it has commenced an investigation to determine the authenticity of allegations in a viral audio-visual recording circulating on social media that was allegedly produced by some personnel in custody at the 8th Division Garrison Detention Facility in Sokoto. Recall that detained soldiers at the A Division of the Nigerian Army in Sokoto broke out from their guard room, clamoring for better food and improved living conditions. Reacting on Saturday, Major General Onyema Nwachukwu, Director of Army Public Relations, in a statement, regretted the incident and warned that the service would not condone the manner the inmates expressed their purported grievance. According to him, necessary administrative actions will be taken against anyone found to have failed to discharge his or her duties effectively. The Nigerian Army, while appreciating Nigerians for their concern and support, pledged to remain focused in its drive to defeat security challenges facing the nation in conjunction with sister services and other security agencies. As part of its mandate to rid the south region of the country of criminality, specifically crude oil theft, the Joint Task Force Operation Delta Safe (OPDS) has destroyed over 40 illegal refining sites at Ukwa Forest in Ukwa West Local Government Area of Abia State. The commander of the Joint Military Force, Rear Admiral John Okeke, who led the operation, said that over 40 sites operating in the area were refining stolen crude oil siphoned by oil thieves. Rear Admiral John Okeke asked residents to work closely with the military to get rid of oil thieves in the region. The commandant also called on residents of the region to partner with security agencies to rid the operational area of criminals, saying the area of Operation Delta Safe will never be a haven for illegality, especially for criminals that have engaged in pilfering of the nation's oil. The military warned oil thieves to flee the region or be arrested. Still staying with Southeast, residents of Imo are expressing total displeasure over the current fuel pump price in the state. They said fuel that was sold for 600 naira per litre a few days ago is now being sold at 800 naira. Ajibade Praise tells us more.
This unfortunate development is coming at a time when the people were beginning to enjoy the gradual reductions in prices of commodities at various markets in the state. Sadly, fuel scarcity, which has affected the price at various filling stations in Owerri metropolis, is impacting on cost of foodstuff in the market.
It's terrible. How can I be buying fuel at 800 per litre? Doesn't really go well. So if there's anything the government can do to actually work on fuel price, that would be very, very nice. Because no, there's nobody in this country that's happy that they are buying fuel for 800. Coupled with there's no light. And if they are giving us light and you are buying fuel for even 1,000, it should be okay. But there's no light. That means the common man has to be on gen every now and then. So it's really, really bad.
It doesn't make any sense. The government is not treating us fair. Do you understand? They do these things sometimes, forget we are citizens. We are the reason why they were voted. We are the reason why they are in the office. Do you understand? They are not treating the masses right. When you go to fuel stations, like increments of things everywhere here and there, when you go to stations, some people are saying based on how they feel like to sell. Like I returned back from Abuja yesterday. You understand? I bought fuel at the rate of 617 naira. Getting here, where they are selling for 800, 850. You go to some stations, they are selling for even 900. So at least they should help us. Even if they can make it a round figure, it's sold like that everywhere.
Because the problem is we they buy fuel. At least the end of the day, go buy fuel 8,000 naira. Nothing go follow me go out at 5,000-6,000 naira, which is very bad. We don't get anything fuel there too much.
A bag of rice that was sold at 60,000 naira a few weeks ago has now jumped to 70,000 naira and above.
It's just a mix, and we are not happy about it. So I just wish that the government will do something about it. It's study for the commoners, so they can be able to get fuel. I don't really think that the removal of subsidy is helping us. If the government can just allow things to flow the way it was before.
Necessity of life, they cannot provide it. No good road, no light, no fuel. And without fuel, no one can survive in this Nigeria. Look at price of fuel, 800 naira a litre. You can imagine. So it is an unfortunate situation.
Some residents are calling on the state and federal government to reinstate subsidy because its removal has done more harm than good. Ajibade prays. Trust TV News, Owerri.
Still in Imo State, operatives of the Owerri Urban Area Command of the Nigerian Police has arrested burglars for robbing a shop in the state. This is even as the menace of burgling in the state has assumed a greater dimension among youths who have now taken to crime due to the prevailing hardship in the land. Police say shops and warehouses are now their target as they often break in to steal valuables. Ajibade prays again with more.
The police public relations officer in Imo State, ASP Henry Okoye, who confirmed the incident in a telephone interview with Trust TV, identified the arrested suspects as Usman Suleiman of Kano State and Mohammed Ibrahim of Zaria, Kaduna State. Okoye said efforts are in top gear to arrest other fleeing suspects and make them face the full wrath of the law.
Okay, the apprehension was following a swift response to a distress call that we received from a concerned citizen that hoodlums were breaking into someone's shop at Amakoya. The area commander immediately deployed his men down to the scene, and on getting to the scene, the hoodlums took to their heels on sighting the police operatives. However, gallant operatives gave them a hot chase, and we were able to arrest two.
He listed some of the items recovered from the suspects to include one solar panel, 3 damaged padlocks, 1 big iron cutter, industrial standing fan, and 2 sonic standing fans, Elipack generator set, 32 inches plasma television, 143 inches Hisense plasma television, among several other valuables, all worth over 3 million naira. Okoye called on business owners and residents alike to be vigilant and report any suspicious movement around their business premises.
For them to stay away from crime and for them to engage in one thing or the other, because when you engage in one thing or the other, you stay away from crime. But because when you have the good friends, you know what to do. But when you have the bad ones, they will not. Maybe they will introduce you to something that is not good, into corruption or the other.
Stealing people's phones, that's not the easiest and the better way to make money. There definitely are obviously better things people can do to make money. You can just walk into somebody's shop. There are good people everywhere. They can just go and say, okay, please, I want to learn how to do something. The person will just want to help you because the person feel like you want to do this thing, you want to be better and stuff. There's God. God is watching. So if you're doing evil, thinking you're making money, God is watching. What goes around comes around.
You should partner with us. If there's any information, you should know the names, and we're assuring them that we will respond, just like we responded swiftly today.
The CP, Danjuma Aboki, appreciated the caller for the timely information given to the police and urged Imolites to take advantage of the command's emergency lines and report any suspicious persons or clandestine activities observed within their vicinity, as security is everybody's business. Ajibade prays. Trust TV News, Owerri.
The construction industry is globally acknowledged to be a vulnerable industry with hazardous activities at the workplace, which means there is higher tendency for a higher number of injury and fatal accidents. Nigerian construction industries are not exceptional on risk in accidents due to negligent or safety precautions. Trust TV's Adamu Imam visits one of the sites proposed for the construction of flyovers within the metropolis.
Lack of strict compliance on safety standard protocols is a major predicament both from employee and the employers of such labor. A visit to one of the ongoing construction flyovers in the state capital showed that some of these protocols are not 100% complied. A representative of the construction company, which is saddled with the responsibility of constructing the 2 flyovers, says they employed about 400 skilled and unskilled youth workers. Artisans and workers here share their experiences.
And working with Chinese, we provide everything that is required for your safety. As you know, safety first. Before you do anything, you have to protect yourself first. You can see everybody is wearing his protective jackets and helmets and boots. So before you start work, you must be provided with all these kind of things for your safety.
The company knows no get any problem. But if you don't learn any work, if you come from this city, you go learn many work. You go get experience. Whether you know sabi the work where you work before, if you come from this city. What are the challenges? It's work. You can get injured if you are not careful. And because we are working with iron, so definitely small thing the iron is person. But we are trying our best to give to our workers a safety boot, safety jacket, and helmet also, so that it will reduce the accident.
Meanwhile, construction expert from the Faculty of Engineering, Abubakar Tafawa Balewa University, construction industry should make safety a priority in all their activities to achieve success.
Every construction site that is in operation, the welfare of workers, their safety, and their well-being is an absolute imperative for trust for the construction company, as well as the successful evolution of the project. Unfortunately, this is being neglected on most of our construction sites, and it doesn't tell good about this country.
The experts say the safety regulatory agencies in Nigeria should stand up and make their voice heard, and to sanction any construction industry found wanting on safety protocols. Adamu Imam, Trust TV News, Bauchi.
This is still the news hour on Trust TV. More news when we return in business, foreign and sports. Please do stay with us. Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us in News Hour on Trust TV. Now let's get to business, where the International Monetary Fund, IMF, has expressed concerns over the Nigerian government's strategy to issue domestic dollar-denominated bonds, according to the recently published IMF staff country report for the country. The fund warns that this move could exacerbate pressures on the naira and elevate the cost associated with naira securities. The report also noted that federal government's plan to revise its medium-term debt strategy, developed in collaboration with the IMF and World Bank Capacity Development. The revision aims to bolster the issuance of medium-term securities and Eurobonds while maximizing multilateral and bilateral support. The IMF also noted that the federal government's plan to introduce domestic foreign exchange securities intended to enhance dollar liquidity in the official market could fragment the market. The IMF advised the Central Bank of Nigeria to develop a foreign exchange intervention framework to mitigate excessive volatility in the naira, given the limited depth of Nigeria's foreign exchange market. Still in business, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has banned foreign missions based in Nigeria from transacting in foreign currencies and mandating the use of naira in their financial businesses. The EFCC has also mandated Nigerian foreign missions domiciled abroad to accept naira in their financial businesses. The move, the EFCC noted, is to tackle the dollarization of the Nigerian economy and the degradation of the naira. In a letter dated April 5, 2024, which was addressed to the Minister of Foreign Affairs, the EFCC chairman, Ola Olukoyede, expressed dismay over the invoicing of consular services in Nigeria by foreign missions in dollars. The EFCC cited Section 20, subsection 1 of the Central Bank of Nigeria Act 2007, which makes currencies issued by the Apex Bank the only legal tender in Nigeria. The Commission added that the refusal by some missions to accept the naira for consular service in Nigeria and also comply with the foreign exchange regulatory regime in fixing the exchange of the cost of the services is not only illegal, but represents an affront to the country's sovereignty symbolized by the national currency. Away from Nigeria, United Nations on Saturday said more than 200 people were killed in flash floods that ripped through multiple Afghan provinces as authorities declared a state of emergency and rushed to rescue the injured. Heavy rains on Friday sent roaring rivers of water and mud crashing through villages and across agricultural land in several provinces, with northern Baglan one of the hardest hit. In Baglani Jadid district, up to 1,500 homes were damaged or destroyed and more than 100 people died. Mohammed Fahim Safi, the national program officer leading IOM's emergency response, revealed at least 62 people, mainly women and children, were killed on May 10th in flash flooding that ripped through Afghanistan's Baghlan province in the north of the country, a local official disclosed. Officials from the Taliban government had said 62 people had died as of Friday night. Government spokesman Zubahullah Mujahid, in a statement posted on X on Saturday, did not differentiate between the numbers of dead and injured, but said dozens had been killed. Emergency personnel were rushing to rescue injured and stranded people, according to the Defense Ministry. Back here in Africa, a worker has been rescued from the debris of a collapsed building in the South African city of George after being trapped for nearly 5 days. Rescuers were able to make contact with the man and gave him water after hearing someone inside the rubble. Western Cape Premier Alan Winde says Saturday's rescue was the miracle they had been hoping for. The partially built apartment block collapsed on Monday, killing at least 14 people and leaving 39 unaccounted for. 81 people were on the construction site when the building came down. The city's latest announcement disclosed 13 of those who were rescued are being treated in hospital. Local media reports said the rescued man was Gabriel Gambe, a 33-year-old Tyler, who was seen being carried into a waiting ambulance. And now to sports. Prince Harry on Saturday played a seated volleyball match with Army veterans as part of his 3-day visit to Nigeria to promote his Invictus Games. The Duke of Sussex arrived with his wife Meghan on Friday in the capital Abuja, where they visited a school for an event on mental health, in a trip that also saw the Prince meet wounded Nigerian soldiers in the northwest. At an officers' mess complex in Abuja, Harry's team, dressed in yellow, played off in an exhibition against a team led by Nigeria's Chief of Defence Staff, with chants of Team Harry. When they scored, the Prince's team took an early lead with players seated on foam mats, some with missing legs. But they lost the match 25-21 to the Commander Squad Team CDS. On the Duke's team was former Nigerian soldier peacemaker Azue Bulam, who lost his leg in combat in the northeast and became the first African to win gold at the Invictus Games in Germany last year. A football clinic organized to develop young talents in the under-13, under-10 and under-8 categories in Nigeria has been held in Abuja. Trust TV's correspondent Adini Ajishafe tells us more.
The Define Nuggets Holiday Football Clinic brought together young footballers aged 8 to 13 to learn the basics of football. The kids were happy to learn the trade courses of different trainings, all geared towards preparing them for the future. Team Scaling and Refine Nuggets under 13 sides logs on after training, while the second match of the day had under 10 and under 8 taking on each other. Becoming a professional footballer is a dream of some of the players as they combine education and football.
I always have an intention of playing as a footballer, but I also have to juggle school also. It's something I have to be conscious of, because football is what I love and I also like school, so it's very hard to juggle. This clinic is a very good and developing clinic. I think people should come to it. It's a very nice clinic.
I think that when parents allow their children to come, that it will give them a lot of confidence to grow, and maybe one day they might be a professional footballer. Who knows who is the next Messi or Ronaldo in this world?
I love playing football because I'm a player, and I like to dribble people, and sometimes I fall down. Coach, he likes carry me up. I like Mbappe.
Parents of some of the participating players say such a football clinic will go a long way to put the young footballers to achieve their dream of becoming football stars.
I saw great improvements from my son. Besides the physical improvements, which is health and well-being, I have seen a level of discipline in him as well. And not to talk about his skills, which has improved, and love and passion for the game.
Football is good, and before, when we are playing, the parents, they don't know that football is money. But now, as you can see, the football is all about money. Even the people that have money, the big rich parents and everything, want their son, the daughter.
The organizer of the football clinic said the aim is to discover and develop football talent at a tender age.
The thing is, we are trying to see how we can bring grassroots football back to its normal standard. A lot of kids lack basics. Even some of the older players, if you look at some of them when they play, it's even difficult for some senior players to trap the ball. So what I'm trying to do is trying to see how I can impart a whole lot of stuff into these kids, teaching them the right thing to do, teaching them the basic of football, and letting them to also know that it's not just all about football, but education first. Education should always come first. Then once you're done with your studies, you can also continue with your career as a footballer.
The football clinic will be a periodic event to give room for more football talent development in Nigeria. That's Sport News. I'm Adeniyi Ajijafe.
What a lovely way to catch them young, keep them busy and hone their skills. Still in sports, now in Kano, para-athletes have been known to shine, particularly in amputee football and para-soccer. Now there's a new addition to the scene, wheelchair basketball, a sport already established in other parts of the country. Trust TV's Abdulaziz Ibrahim caught up with the coach and some players of the recently formed Kano State wheelchair basketball team as they gear up for the debut at the national finals. Here's the report.
In Kano State, para-athletes have consistently showcased remarkable skills, especially in para-soccer and amputee football. Despite their outstanding performances, these athletes often lack the crucial support they need. The Kano State wheelchair basketball team comprises athletes accustomed to para-soccer and amputee football, now eager to embrace a fresh challenge. Coach Hussein Gumel, the pioneer, shares the story of how he pieced together the team using borrowed wheelchairs.
Federation of the Wheelchair Basketball decided to take Kano to be the venue of the wheelchair basketball within Savannah, the state within the northern part of Nigeria. That's why I have an interest to form a basketball team, a wheelchair basketball team. We have para-soccer players. Is the para-soccer not related to basketball? I borrowed 3 players from Kwara State. Then I joined with 3 para-soccer players and they play for me.
I was also happy to be selected as one of the players to represent Kano State wheelchair basketball, and I'm so happy because as I'm looking at this is an opportunity for me to become someone in future and to also help my country, which is Nigeria, and also my state, Kano State, in wheelchair basketball.
Despite lacking dedicated competition wheelchairs, the Kano team excels at the standard court at the Sani Abacha Stadium Indoor Sports Hall. Their success is truly commendable.
There's a lot of opportunities playing wheelchair basketball. They play at the national level, international level, Olympics and World Cup. So any player who excels, who is good enough, can be able to make it to the next level, can become a professional player and maybe get a team outside of Nigeria to sign, like the same way that football players are signing a contract, the same way the wheelchair basketball are signing a contract.
One of the problems we are facing now is the state are not fully supporting the sport. Maybe because it's a new sport, sometimes it takes time before the state can really support. But we are appealing to states to support these special people and give them something they can live on. And basketball is one sport, and wheelchair basketball is one of the things they can live on.
And the only challenge we are facing is like people are thinking that, like able people, they are thinking that we disabled can become something. The only help we need is from the government to please give us proper care so that we too become normal and caring the way other people who are able, they are taking care of them.
Joining teams from Kwara, Lagos, Oyo and Ogun states, the Kano State squad will compete at the national finals to hold in Abuja from the 19th to 21st of this month.
There you have it. Very inspiring, and of course shows you that you can do whatever you put your mind to do. And that's the much we have for you on News Hour tonight. Do not forget to follow us on our social media platforms and on our YouTube live stream. I am Chiamaka Nwafo on behalf of the news production team. Thank you so much for joining us.